Good evening, friends. Today we will learn another important thing, that is the difference between always do and always doing. Always do is in simple present, always doing is in present continuous. Earlier we discussed that whenever we use always, never, often, sometimes, usually, we use simple present. Right? In most cases we use simple present. But in some special cases we use always doing also. Okay, in most cases it is always plus simple present, but there are some specific cases where we use always doing also. Let us look at these examples. I always go to work by car. That means this is a general statement and this happens repeatedly, like a habit. This is the general usage of always. Here, Paul is never satisfied. He is always complaining. That means he is complaining more often than normal. It's not that, see, I always go to work by car. It means I probably go every day at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock repeatedly every day. But here it doesn't happen that way. Paul is always complaining means he is complaining more than what it is normal. It is not that he is complaining every day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Right? It is not happening that way. It is happening more frequently. Right? You are always looking at your phone. Don't you have anything else to do? Here, in this case, this person is doing more frequently. It is not that this person is looking at his phone every 5 minutes or daily from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It is not like that. This is about more frequent usage, usage of phone. He is looking more frequently at his phone. That's why in these cases we will say always doing. If you say you always look at your phone, that means it happens like a habit. Right, here it is not. Or he's always complaining. If you say he always complains, it looks like it is a habit, but it is not. You just want to say it is happening more often than normal. Okay, right. These special cases, and apart from this, earlier we have all discussed. Let us just revise the difference between simple present and present continuous. Simple present we use for general things that happen repeatedly. Continuous is about what is happening right now at the time of speaking. Continuous is for temporary things. Simple present is for permanent things. And always, never, often, sometimes, usually we use simple present. And we use simple present in while in certain cases by saying something if you are doing. For example, I promise, I apologize, I suggest, I advise, I insist, I agree, I refuse. In these cases, I promise I won't be late. Right. The action, though action is happening at the time of speaking, right, we still use simple present in these words. Right. There are other words where we use simple present. These words are generally not used in present continuous. Right. Please note these words. Okay. Now let us look at few more exercises. Paul is never late. What does that mean? He always starts on time. He always starts work on time, because this is about a habit. This is general thing. It is nothing specific to now and nothing related to frequency. He is never late. That means he always starts work on time. It is in simple present. They don't get on well, right? We have two options. They always argue or they are always arguing. In this case, we don't mean to say they argue every day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., right? We want that would sound awkward, right? Here, what we want to say is they don't get on well and they argue more often than what it is normal. That is what we want to say. We don't want to say that they argue every day from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. or they fight every day between this time and that time, right? That looks awkward, right? So instead we say they are always arguing, right? They are always arguing. Here in this case we are using present continuous, though we are using always. Okay. Here let's look at what is this guy saying and what is this girl saying. I have lost my keys again. This girl is saying not again. Now, here she has two options. You always lose your keys, or you're always losing your keys. Right. You always lose your keys. It sounds like a little awkward, right? Because it is not about habit. It doesn't happen that this fellow loses keys every day, once or every day twice. He's losing keys more frequently. That's why she will say, you are always losing your keys. The car has broken down again. The car is useless. Here also, the car is breaking down more frequently. It doesn't mean every second trip it is breaking down, right? Here, what he means to say is it is breaking down more frequently. So that car is useless. Okay, the car is useless. That is fine. Now, what she's saying, what she should say, it is always breaking down. She should not say it always breaks down. It is always breaking down because it is breaking down more frequently. Look, you have made the same mistake again. Right. The guy is complaining. The girl is saying, oh no, not again. Here also there are two options. I am always making the same mistake or I always make the same mistake. Right. If she says I always make the same mistake, then that means she is very stupid. That means she is making the same mistake again and again every time and every time. If she is attempting 10 times, all 10 times she is making the same mistake, right? Which is not happening. Here, what he means to say is she is making the same mistake, but doesn't mean 10 on 10 times she is making the same mistake. She is making the same mistake means she is more frequently making mistakes, right? So she should say, I am always making the same mistake, right? Not I always make the same mistake. Oh, I have left my phone at home again. Again, this is about more frequently leaving phone at home. It is not about leaving everyday phone at home, right? Right. If he is leaving phone every day at home, then that is normal. He will not even say this statement, right? Oh, I have left my phone at home again. He will not even make this statement. Like if he's leaving everything at home, for example, he's leaving his fridge at home. He doesn't take his fridge to his office, let's say, or his TV to office. Then he will not make such a statement, right? I have left my TV at home again. He will not say this. Here, this is about frequently leaving his phone at home. That is this statement means that it doesn't mean that he is leaving it again. He's doing it all the time, right? Typical. You are always leaving your phone at home. So that is the correct form. Instead of you always leave your phone at home. Right. Hope you understood the difference between always do something versus always doing something. Right. Always do something means every time it should happen. Right. The bus always runs between X and Y, right? Between point A and point B, right? Because that happens every time. Okay. Now let us look at other exercise also. Why are all these people here? Okay, the statement is about right now. At the time of making the sentence, at the time of making the statement. So it should be what is happening instead of what happens. Right. This is temporary and this is right now at the time of making the statement. See, at the time of making the statement, at the time of speaking. This is present continuous, right? Next, Julia is good at languages. It is not specific to now. It is all the time. It is a permanent thing. It is a general fact. So she speaks four languages very well, right? Are you ready yet? This is at the time of speaking. Right now, whether this person is ready or not. Everybody is waiting for you. That is the correct form. I have never heard this word. How you pronounce it, right? How the pronouncing of the word is in general. It is nothing specific to right now. Whether I know this word or I don't know this word, but the pronunciation is always the same. Whether I know this word or I don't know this word, right? It is not about pronouncing the word right now. So it is about how do you pronounce it. That is the correct form, correct sentence. How do you pronounce it? Right, that is the correct. verb form. It should mean simple present. How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce a word? What is the capital of a city, of a country? Right. This is a general fact. This is a general thing. This is a permanent thing. That's why it should be in simple present. Kate not work this week. She is on holiday this week. That means at the time of speaking. So Kate is not working this week. She is on holiday. There's nothing general here. I think my English improves slowly. It is better than it was. That means it is also at the time of speaking. Earlier it was not great. Now it is improving. So I think my English is improving slowly. Nicola dash lived in Manchester. She has never lived anywhere else. She has never lived. That means it's a permanent thing. Past, present, future, every time she is living in Manchester only. So Nicola lives in Manchester. She has never lived anywhere else. Can we stop walking soon? This is again at the time of making the statement. At the time of the sentence, right? I am starting to get tired. That is the correct form. Right. Sam and Tina are in Madrid right now. Right now means at the time of making the statement. So it should be they are visiting a friend of theirs. Right. There's nothing permanent about it. It is happening at this point. This is a temporary thing. What your father do? He is an architect. See, this is a general fact and this is a permanent thing. Last year also, this year also, next year also, it is a father's occupation. It's a general thing. So it is like, what is your name? Right. So it should be in simple present. What does your father do? It took me an hour to get to work this morning. Right. This sentence is about right now. Right. But most days it not take so long. It is about most days. It is not right now. Right. It is about most days. So it is not right now. He is saying in general. Most days means it is a statement which is in general. So it should be most days it does not take so long. Right. It took me an hour. This already happened. Right now I am speaking. It took me an hour. That means in the morning. Right. Let's say right now it is 2 p.m. It took me an hour. Probably it means at 9 a.m. Now, this one, most days, so long. What does it mean? Last week, this week, or a month back, 2 months back, whatever. Most days means that all the time. All the time. It is talking about not just present, it is talking about past also. Past and present. So it should be in simple present. Most days, it does not take so long. I learn to drive. My driving test is next month. That means this fellow is learning now. I am learning now. Right? My test is next month. So it should be I am learning to drive. My father is teaching me. This is a temporary thing. I will not learn to drive forever in my life, right? Learning to drive is a short thing, whether a few weeks or a month or 2 months, whatever, depending on my speed of learning. Right? If I learn fast, I will learn fast. If I learn slow, I will take little longer. But whatever is the case, I don't learn throughout the time, right? So it is not a permanent thing. I learn to drive until I take my driving test. So it should be I am learning to drive. My driving test is next week. My father is teaching me. That is the correct sentence. Right. Hope you guys have understood this. Right. This is simple only. We have learnt good deal about simple present and present continuous tense. Right. Hope you have gone through all the videos related to simple present and present continuous tense and what are the correct forms of verbs that we can use and what is the correct order of words that we have to use in each of these tenses. There are other videos where we discussed all of those in detail. Please go through them and still if you have any doubts, please put some comments. Then we'll discuss those things in detail again. Thank you guys. All the best. Bye bye.